Guys, so I am in my mode right now of learning. In the morning, I tend to like to get my sleep, my exercise, and then in the afternoon, I like to do my uh, this is my ideal schedule. I like to learn, and then I prefer to work at night for the most part because I'm awake and I'm ready. So, as I talk about RNC a little bit more, I really did like Eric Trump. Listening to him talk, I really appreciated him saying to, the people who we disappointed with this, I am sorry. We will fix it. To those who are like this, I am sorry. We will fix it. Very short, clear cut, direct. I will fix it. Compared to like Kamala Harris's word salad, right? Like, oh, it can be and it will be unburdened. We can unburden the past. And, it's just like, what are you saying? So I like his directness. Trump left no detail. No detail was too small when we hear testimony about things he has done, how he has redone certain buildings, how he had to, take everything apart and redo everything again. The fentanyl crises definitely was something that had affected my family, where I had a son who, had experimented with marijuana and something was laced with fentanyl. I almost lost him. He was in jail for 6 months, and the police said, we will not tell you how bad he came in. And he just, pretty much lost him for a while, and that was really sad. So, when I visited him over there, it was, he never got in trouble, but this one time, and it was a mess. So, the drugs are major. What else? What else did I want to talk about? Oh, again, as a homeschool mom and as a mom of a teacher, I see what's going on in the public schools. I'm a mom. Instead of standing up to the public schools and saying, you're not going to teach my kids this or that, I'm just like, skip the whole thing and homeschool. Much easier. But we did hear from a teacher who said, and I see this with my son too. I see all the behavioral issues that are in the schools right now. And so many kids don't have two-parent homes, and there's just one issue after another. And, it's just behavioral. It's just, kids fighting, kids getting hurt, kids, all this stuff going on. So, I like what they said about teacher unions, how, this teacher said that the Biden-Barack agreement to not have kids suspended as much and not kick out the dangerous kids in schools really affected her. She was actually like gang assaulted a teacher in a school. That's unbelievable to me. We would have never done that in my time when I went to school. We would have never done such a thing. And we knew if we did, and I've talked to like on South Nevada too, one of my neighbors is like, when you got home, if you got in trouble in school, he said, and then when you got home, you got in double trouble when you got home. And he said that's the way it was. And he's like, my mother used extension cords on us. So I don't know what his childhood was, but he said, and I'm for the better for it, he said. His mother grounded him constantly in the summer, he would say. So he would used to tell me stories, and he's like, I'm better for it. So to think that kids can get away with this stuff, and I like that Trump is going to put people in who really care about kids. I think that's important. Not all this transgender stuff. If you think you feel like a boy or a girl, you are. That's bull. So that transgender stuff, let me tell you something about it. It's more than that. There is a wicked evil. There's something evil underlying this movement. And it's not just, it's light and fluffy. There is an evil to it where it's being shoved down people's throats. As a matter of fact, one of my sons called me and said, hey, I'm just calling to say goodbye. This is yesterday when I was taking out the trash. And I'm like, what do you mean? So I stopped in my tracks and said, what do you mean you're saying goodbye? And he's just like, well, because you keep saying things about this. And I'm like, well, you're the one who's bringing it up. And he's like, yeah, but we're just never going to agree. And I'm like, I think you need to learn to agree to disagree. You brought it up. You keep talking about it. So I'm telling you what I think. So there are times as parents you have to be very confrontational and put it right back in your kid's face. And then there's other times, like last night I had used one of my son's cords and he's like, don't use my cord. He's like, don't use it. I need it. Don't touch it, da da da. And I'm like, okay, yep. And he's like, so he's just, telling me how he feels, and then to come back around and be like, I'm so sorry that, so sorry, and play it a little bit. So sorry that I did that, and be a mom who can say sorry. Say, I'm so sorry. And then when he's like, don't worry about it, no worries. Go back and be like, so sorry. I won't even look at it. I won't even look at this because it offends you so much. And kind of use the humor to show, your kids sometimes when they overreact. And just, respect your sons. It's important to respect your sons. If you don't, they will teach you to respect them. And they love their mom, and they'll forgive you, but they will teach you to respect them. But respect is not, it's not compromise. And I've got, like I said, one of these sons who's just like, oh, I did this and I did that. And, I'm like skirting around the issue. Like, okay, yeah, I'll talk to you later. And so I headed it on confrontationally and said, you need to straighten your head out. And so he didn't like that I said that, and he felt disrespected that I didn't agree with him. And that's not disrespect. That's respectfully disagreeing with somebody. And not only disagreeing, but saying what you're doing is wrong. Coming right out with it. What you're doing is wrong. Christ is coming soon, and you better get ready because he's coming soon. And, tell your kids stuff. Don't be afraid to tell them. Like, who was it I was talking to? Somebody said that their mother told them all the time, like, if you don't straighten out, God's going to deal with you. Like, all the time. And I'm like, whoa, and anytime, they did something, the mother was there telling them God's going to get you for that one. And I thought, holy cow. So, you want to be tough as a mom, but you also want to be compassionate, empathy, try to deal with things in different ways, try to find different ways to get your point across. And so anyways, back to RNC, the fentanyl, the drugs. I mean, anyone who chooses to do drugs, I told my kids, don't do drugs. My father told me, if you ever do drugs, I'm going to kick your butt so hard you're not going to walk for a week. And he meant it. He seriously meant it. There was no question about it. And he looked at me like, I better not even try it. And that kept me from, I never tried drugs because of that. And it was around me. It was around me growing up. So, but it's different nowadays for kids, right? I mean, it's totally different. It's just, we're living in a different world. And yeah, RNC, no men and women's sports. That's bogus, right? And, I was at Planet Fitness in New Hampshire. And I was over there taking a shower. And I had somebody come in that gym area when I was in there, and it looked like a guy dressed as a girl. I mean, I wasn't sure, and it made me so uncomfortable. So I cannot imagine how these girls must feel. Thinking back when I was in school, I would have freaked out if a guy dressed as a girl was in my bathroom, right? And so we shouldn't have to be putting up with this. As a matter of fact, there was one boy when we were growing up that acted like a girl, and everyone picked on him. Everybody picked on him to straighten him out. I don't know what happened in his life, but everybody picked on him. So I think that was a way, I don't think he ever ended up changing from what I heard later on in life. but it was a way we protected ourselves, and I don't know why they don't let kids. Maybe some of this bullying is actually healthy. I had bullying when I was growing up, and it was somewhat normal bullying. I mean, people didn't really say much back then. And it taught me to be very careful about what I do and what I say, because if you are not careful, you're going to get bullied for it. So, you have to just learn. I mean, even when I was in Suncook, I grew up in Suncook until about 6 or 7. Hardworking people there had to walk to school, walked up the hill to Pembroke Hill School, and had kids making fun of me over there. And I had a hard time with speech issues when I was really little. And so I got made fun of for that. And, every little thing that I did, I would get made fun of. And then when I went to Epsom, by then my mother, I think 2nd grade, she had gotten me speech therapy, and but still I was getting picked on for every little thing that I did, from my freckles to my nose to my legs to the hair on my arms. And I think some of it is healthy because you're learning to, you're kind of being socialized, and you got to have some of that in life, right? You got to have some of that, people coming up against you to grow and learn, as long as they're not like hurting you. So, talking to my son too, he was telling me some things, and, dress code is important at work, I think. My son was given a dress code, and dress codes are important at work. And it should be policy with some people, some companies, so that we can avoid some stuff. So anyways, long story short, I did enjoy, again, RNC, and I'm looking forward to learning more in that area. But I am going to do a video about school choice some more, and I'm actually thinking, if I'm not working, which I just got my Fed Express check and put it in the bank until I can cash it, if I'm not working right now, it's probably a good idea to step back and just be like, okay, what else can you do? What else, maybe because I've homeschooled for so long and I loved it and I loved my kids, get on that more. So, I think I'll probably do that to help parents. Just get on it more. I've been trying to do it. I'm going to have to get into my stuff. I've got a ton of books. I still don't have everything from my storage. That is probably what I really need. And I do have some of it though, so I will probably go through stuff and talk about things we can teach our kids. So I'm going to have to organize it somehow. And as a homeschool mom, as a teacher, as a mother of a teacher, continue learning. I mean, I just love to learn, and that has made probably the biggest difference in my life, is sitting down and learning. So keep on doing that. Change. Don't just learn. I mean, do something with it. Implement it. Change your actions. So that's what I've got, and I am going to watch Sarah, and I'm going to watch Ben Carson and tell you what I think about that too. Okay, thanks for joining me. Be good until next time.